My friends, hello, how are you? Today we're going to talk about Joe Rogan and try to figure out exactly what the hell happened with this guy. We're going to go into a little bit of money issues, bro culture, things like that. So we got a lot to figure out. But we got to go way back with Joe Rogan here and try to figure out exactly what happened with this guy. See, me and Joe Rogan, we have kind of a long history. He doesn't know me, but I know him. I don't see why he would know me now that I say that out loud. But I've known of Joe Rogan for obviously a long time. Way back in the day, way back when he was on News Radio, which was not a good show at all. But when you only had a few channels and News Radio was on, it was probably still the best show on TV at the time. So you watch News Radio. It was real bad, in case anybody's wondering about News Radio. It wasn't good. So anyways, of course, I saw him on Fear Factor, which was pretty cool, I guess. I didn't like the round where they had to eat weird stuff. I probably wouldn't have made it through that round, but the other stuff I would have been willing to try. Didn't really much care for the UFC stuff. And then, of course, he went on to be a stand-up comedian. I don't know if he was a stand-up comedian first or not. An average comedian. I wouldn't say he was great by any means, but he got a few laughs out of me. And then went on to the Joe Rogan podcast. There we go. There's Joe Rogan's whole career wrapped up in a nutshell, I guess, where he's done very well with the podcast, but something along the way happened, and we got to figure out why, because the man's lost his fucking mind, and I'm not entirely sure why. I remember when Joe Rogan was one of the Bernie bros, right? Loved him some Bernie Sanders. And I thought that was pretty cool, right? What's wrong with Bernie Sanders? I think Bernie Sanders had a lot of things done wrong to him. And he probably should have been our president at some point or another, but that's just the way it went, I guess. I'd have to dig into that more to really give a better opinion, but Bernie probably got screwed is all I'm saying. But Joe Rogan loved him some Bernie Sanders. He was all about the healthcare and whatever policies Bernie Sanders had. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I thought that was pretty cool that he was interested in that and understood why it mattered, because if you didn't know, Joe Rogan's a rich guy. And rich guys don't really concern themselves very much with things that benefit the population. So I thought it was really cool of Joe Rogan to be interested in that. And he had built up a pretty good, obviously a pretty good following through his podcast. And I miss the old Joe Rogan. I didn't watch him a whole lot, but you know, I like that stuff with Bernie. And of course, when you could tell he probably smoked a little too much and he was down the rabbit hole on some conspiracy theories. I miss conspiracy theories, man. I miss when they were fun, when we just had a good time with conspiracy theories and we talked about what if and that's crazy and all that stuff. And obviously they got to be a lot less fun when the right started wanting everybody to believe every conspiracy theory, and that made it not very much fun anymore. But I missed that Joe Rogan. You know, he was a fun guy. You know, he would, you know, go off on some crazy stuff, and it was entertaining. It absolutely was. And I just don't know what the fuck went wrong. I mean, I think I get it, but I'm not really sure. But what went wrong that has caused him to react to the world the way that he has? I don't know if he got stuck in some sort of right-wing algorithm and he just sat there in his house listening to crazy shit all the time. But how you go from being a Bernie bro to now being a Donald Trump supporter just doesn't compute in my brain how that could possibly work. And we heard his justification for why he felt like he had to get involved in politics this time, and it was super fucking bizarre. He was saying that he couldn't believe that Tim Walz, that guy, was going to be our vice president because Tim Walz lies. And he had said that Tim Walz had lied about his rank in the military. I believe Tim Walz was National Guard. I looked into it a little bit. Remember, guys, I'm not the media, just kind of knee-jerk reactions around here from the things I'm able to pick up along the way while I do my job, right? But what I had understood from the information I had looked up is that Tim Walz had actually achieved that rank in the National Guard, and then after he had left, there was something to do with paperwork that caused him to lower a rank officially, something like that. I don't know a whole lot about the military, but what was concerning about this was that he was saying that he could not possibly stand for Tim Walz to be the vice president of America after he lied that way. So let's try to make sense of this real quick. Joe Rogan doesn't like elected officials that lie. There's a reason for the silence right now, so we can all try to process that, as we all know that he endorsed Donald Trump, who is a habitual liar, who lies all the time. That's what Donald Trump does. I would be more shocked to hear that Donald Trump told the truth about something than I would ever be shocked to hear that he told a lie. So we know this doesn't add up. This is not what he thought was the problem. Oh, he told a lie, so I just can't have it. This is such an easy one to debunk, I guess. I don't know that I just debunked him. I'm not an insanely smart guy. But what I'm saying is it's not lying that's bothering him. That's not what he stands for at all, because you would never endorse Donald Trump if you were that adamantly opposed to somebody telling a lie. So we know that's not the thing, but we also know that lately Joe Rogan has been using Russian talking points on his podcast, and this is getting really concerning to me, that we've got more and more people that have influence in America that are using Russian talking points. Funny side note, I had somebody tell me that I sold out on this channel, and that's the only reason I believe what I do, is because I'm doing it for all the money that I'm making here. I still drive this truck, my guy. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm trying. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm still in the monetization process of YouTube. They're really dragging their feet on that. So YouTube, if you're watching, I wouldn't mind making a few dollars if you could get around to approving that. That'd be cool. If you want, it's up to you, my corporate overlords. You decide what we're doing. But anyways, his point was the reason that I sold out to the left, which is a weird take on me if you know me, was because I'm just here to try to make money off of left-wing talking points, which is absurd. Because I can tell you right now, my friends, I can bullshit. I can bullshit like no other. Trust me on that. I'm sure you guys have picked up on that. We just talk and words come out of my mouth. Trust me, I can be a bullshit artist if I want to be. And I could have done this the easy way. I could have came on here and did right-wing talking points, made up whatever nonsense I wanted to make up, told everybody that it was true, and by now I would already be invited to podcast on the right. I would already be being promoted by bigger channels on the right. I'm doing this on hard mode, baby. We're over here talking about what we really believe in instead of selling out so that we can make some bucks. Don't get me wrong now. If I make some dollars along the way, I ain't gonna be mad about that, okay? But it's just weird that anybody on the right would think that people on the left are selling out for the big bucks. And there's not a whole lot of money in it from what I've heard, but we'll see how that all shakes out, I guess. The reason I brought that up is because we actually have examples recently of right-wing influencers taking Russian money and then using Russian talking points on their podcast or YouTube channels or what have you. And I believe this may be possibly the case with Joe Rogan. I'm not saying that he's taking Russian money directly. I'm not making an accusation, but something obviously is influencing him to make the points that he is making now, because none of it makes any fucking sense, is the point I'm trying to make. There is no reason that you would have the morals and opinions that you had. And as we grow, as we get older, of course our opinions change on things. If we're paying attention, we may say, oh yeah, I kind of see this from a different point of view now. But you don't go from Bernie, you know, that wants to take care of people, wants to get us health care and all that stuff, and then you go, you know who would be better? Donald Trump. You know who Donald Trump's better for? Everybody here that's listening to me that understands what I'm saying, Donald Trump is better for rich people. That's who Donald Trump's better for. He's not better for us. Now, I know you always see people bring up Donald Trump's tax cuts, though. He gave us so many tax cuts last time. You got guys making 60 grand a year, 50, 60 grand, going, oh my God, those Donald Trump tax cuts were amazing. You didn't qualify for those tax cuts. You're lying. You're lying to yourself is the bigger problem here. But we are seeing a lot of the richest people in our country run towards Donald Trump right now. You've got, of course, Elon Musk. I don't know what's going on with that douchebag. I have plenty of theories, but that's a whole other video by itself. Of course, Joe Rogan. There's probably other examples. But why are they running to Donald Trump? Now they really want him to be the president, is because he's going to protect their money. Then they're going to continue to get rich, because that's what Donald Trump policies do. They keep the rich getting richer while us little working jackasses down here, sorry, I was gonna say much worse, but remember earlier I said I'm trying to get YouTube to monetize this channel. I had to stop myself there for a minute. But while the rest of us assholes sit down here, you know, toiling our lives away, making enough to get by, to enrich our overlords, they are trying to protect their money. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Everybody wants to have a better life, right? And money, unfortunately, in the world we live in, money is unfortunately how your life gets better. I didn't make the fucking rules. I don't necessarily care for the system either. It's just where we live. But for me, as a guy that's never really had a lot of money, I would like to think that, let's say suddenly something happens and I make a whole lot of money and I'm just rolling in money. I would like to think that there's a point where I go, I think I've made enough money. Like, what am I going to do with all this shit, right? I know I'd probably blow a lot of it on making really poor decisions. I know that for a fact. I would do some dumb shit. I'd make headlines, my friends, because I do dumb shit. I absolutely would if I had that kind of money. You guys don't get to come back and yell at me if I ever make some money and be like, why are you acting crazy right now? Why did you do that ridiculous thing? I fucking warned you. I told you if I had too much money, I would probably do ridiculous shit. And I don't know what that means necessarily. Maybe like go rent a supercar and tear through the streets of LA or something just to see how fast I could get it to go. I don't know, but I don't know, that endangers other people. You guys get the point though. I would do some dumb shit is the point. But I would like to think that at some point it's just too much money and I really don't need any more. But I don't know, something happens in the brains of rich people where they've made so much money and they go, you know what I'm really missing in my life? More fucking money. I'm missing more fucking money in my life. And then they end up going for Donald Trump to help them protect that money. I can't think of any other reason that Joe Rogan would do such a flip-flop like that and have a whole different philosophy on politics. It's gotta be money, right? What else could it be? Do you guys, I don't know, CTE? Did he like bump his head? Did he do MMA or UFC also? I'm not sure if he was in it or if he was just an announcer, but did he bump his head? Like, can we help him somehow? Because mental health's the real thing. Can we figure this out? Because the flip-flop doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So with, excuse me, had to stop the video, had a bit of a coughing fit there. I'm not going to cut out the beginning of it because my unprofessionalism is part of my charm, I would say. But yeah, I had to take a minute there and catch my breath and then hit the old vape for better lungs, I guess. I'm not really sure. But I want to talk a little bit about bro culture and sort of where it comes from. And I do have an understanding, I think. It's just a theory I made up in my head about how we got there. And it's kind of destructive. It's very destructive, but I understand how it happened and how it continues to happen. So the first thing I want to say, ladies, I love you. This is such a cool channel because I've been doing trucking channels for years, quite the fucking sausage party on a trucking channel. And the ladies are very outspoken, very vocal in the comments of this channel. And it's very, very cool that you're here to support this channel. I understand that you have struggles in your life that I may not understand, if that makes sense. I understand that you have struggles in your life that I may not understand. I want you to know, with my vote, I always protect your rights too. I'm on your side, all right? The reason I'm saying all that is because I don't want any of this to come off like I'm pitying the poor men or mansplaining or anything like that. But I want to explain how I think we got where we're at when it comes to all this bro culture bullshit that we have to deal with now. By the way, speaking of ladies, got my first marriage proposal in the comments last week. Came in before a death threat. I was really surprised by that. So got my first marriage proposal, and I just want to say here on video, I accept. I'll marry all of you, and then you, all of you. We'll just all get married, and then you don't have to run the risk of accidentally marrying a Trump supporter. I'm here to help. I'm a man of the people. So yeah, I just wanted to accept that marriage proposal here on video for everyone to see. Anyways, happy to have you here, ladies. I really am. With that said, bro culture is a real motherfucker, a real pain in the ass. I don't like it, but I understand how we ended up where we're at. I wish every once in a while these guys would do a little bit of self-reflection into what they're actually doing and see that they're kind of full of shit. Because if you have to run around the internet or your real life even and tell people that you're an alpha male, you're probably not an alpha male. It's one of those things that goes without saying. If it's true, you never have to say it. You never have to speak it at all. I used to hang out with a guy for a brief time when I was younger. It was a very short amount of time, and we wanted to go drink some beers one night. So we went down to this club in town, and you know, the music was playing, and we were drinking beers, and he started dancing, right? You got that bro dance. He's doing his bro dance. But then he put his arms up like this, right? He's flexing, and this is how he danced all night, right? That was his move the whole night, just flexing. Well, that was a douchebag thing to do now, wasn't it? And when I see a guy doing something like that, I see a very insecure man. I'm not bullying right now. I do intend to explain how we get here. But yeah, if you got to run around telling people you're an alpha, probably not. If you got to line up every day to be told what your opinion is on politics or whatever it is, that sounds pretty beta to me, if I'm being honest with you. And look, this is a thing with these big influencers like this. Joe Rogan's such a good fucking example because he was firmly on the left. Bernie Sanders, he loved Bernie Sanders, and he has the ability to grab his audience's attention and just tell them, now you have a different opinion. Now you like Donald Trump. And not one person went to question that. Not one person thought about that and said, why, what the hell, didn't we just like Bernie? And now we like Donald Trump? Those two couldn't be any more different. So anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is being a man is a very tough thing to do too. We also have our very, very unique set of challenges. And one of the things that happens is it's very easy for a man to be considered a loser and a failure. He could just be having a hard time, just a hard day, just a hard week, just really going through it, and kind of, you know, fumbles the ball a little bit, and his reputation will now become, he's a loser, he's a failure. There's a point to all this, just hang with me if you will. And a lot of men are just completely cut out of the dating pool now. A lot of times that's their own fucking fault. They do spend way too much time listening to other men and what the other men tell them that women like. Look, I'm not here to give dating advice, but you guys have no idea how many times I've been run into the ground by men about my little patchy redneck beard here. Hey, I've been growing this thing for almost 2 years, and this is as far as we've made it. Yeah, but I'm kind of proud of it, right? But you know what I've never heard from women? A negative thing about it. They say, oh, we love your beard. That's a nice beard you got there. Amongst other filthy things that have come out of their mouth. It's great. The world's wild out there, my friends. The point I'm trying to make is men spend a lot of time listening to other men about what women like, and if you take a minute and listen to a woman about what a woman likes, you might get more valuable information, is the point that I'm making. So a lot of times men getting cut out of the dating pool is their own damn fault, and sometimes it's just not. Maybe they were misguided, or I don't know, maybe they're fucking ugly. I don't fucking know. But being a man, the point I'm trying to make, can be a very, very fucking lonely existence. Ask me how I know. I've been in this truck for 10 years, man. I haven't heard from some family members for fucking years. Life just went on, and I'm not mad at them about it. It's just life just went on, and everybody kind of forgot that I'm out here in my truck. Call me sometime. I'm just kidding. I'm playing. But anyways, it can be such a fucking lonely existence. With the dating thing, I mean, look, a lady can say on her social media, I'm single now, inbox just filled up, man, she just got DMs for days in there. If a guy goes on his social media and goes, I'm single now, nothing happens except maybe one bro will reach out and say, bro, I got you. Let's go out and drink some beers, which is not the right way to handle a breakup, guys, by the way. Don't drink too much, okay? It's going to make you sad. Maybe have a couple, take the edge off a little bit, but don't go too crazy. You're just going to be a bawling, blubbering mess, snot pouring out of your nose. Yeah, drinking too much ain't the way to handle it. But it's going to be a bro that picks you up every time, right? There's things like that. So what I'm saying is, a lot of times for men, they will seek validation any fucking way they can get it because it's a lonely life out there, right? And a lot of times that leads you in to this bro culture, that circle of other men that are just looking for some validation. And it becomes, I hate the term now because everybody's saying it, and I've been saying it for years. I'm just tired of the term, but it becomes an echo chamber. Like, everyone's just saying this, and then somebody goes, yeah, bro, you're right, because nobody wants to challenge their friend's idea. And I'm not saying like fight them or be hostile towards them, but be like, hey, I don't know about that, what do you think about this? Because a lot of times that's all we got is those people, and we don't want to challenge them in any way for fear that we just might not have anyone left. That's all we've got left in the world, is this group of people that has accepted me. So my only choice is to go along with everything they say and say hell yeah, and reinforce their ideas and start to think just like them, because if I don't, who the fuck else will love me? It's tragic, and that's how we end up with the bro culture. And I guess sometimes I think being a trucker for as long as I have, it's been sort of a blessing. I haven't had friends for a long time. I've been doing this. I've been driving the fucking truck. But I haven't had friends for a long time. And I remember when I was young, in my early 20s, I had gone through a breakup. It was devastating. Girl was way out of my league. I don't know what she was thinking. But it was just a devastating breakup. And I had one friend, the only friend I had, and he was constantly trying to pick me up and like, let's go out, let's have some drinks, let's do this, let's do that. And it was probably hard for him to do that, but anyways, I guess I had a point, but I forgot what it was. But I'm saying that I understand how we end up there. So as much as I'm kind of a dickhead sometimes on these videos, if sometimes we could find a way to like be more supportive and be more welcoming. And trust me, I'm very much against this. I'm sick of Trump voters. But if we could be more welcoming, we would give that person someone else to talk to and maybe a different point of view. Now, I'm going to leave that to people better than me because I'm old and grumpy and I'm tired of being nice about everything. So people better than me can take that mission on, I suppose. But all I'm saying is I understand how we get there. And I guess I felt like that was important to talk about on a Joe Rogan video. And I don't know the cure for it and how we really help. But I guess now that I've thought about how lonely the existence of men is, I'm just going to lay back here and cry for a while. Just kidding. I got to go get a shower and get some lunch and then get back to driving this truck. I ain't got time for crying, baby. I got time for working. That's what I got time for. All right, bye guys. See you later.